Hello. Oh, there we go. I think now we started. Hello, hello, hello. What is up, folks? My name is Melvin, coming at you live with better quality, a lot better quality. I think I had the camera settings all wrong because now it's looking a lot clearer, a lot sharper, a lot less noise. I changed some settings around. I'm still learning this whole live streaming thing. It's not just plug and go. It was when I used my phone, but I wasn't satisfied with the quality there. And plus, I can't use my browsers if I want to show you guys something. But I'm not here to show you guys anything today. I didn't really have a topic, and I just kind of wanted to come at you, one on one. I like when I can do live streams where it just feels like I'm talking directly to you, where I don't have to bring up any sort of big topic type thing and just come at you person to person. Um, and it feels weird to do that because whenever you go on YouTube, the front page is always kind of like, oh, what's what's going to get your attention the quickest? What's going to keep you entertained the longest? YouTube is really becoming the place where some of the most entertaining people are on and are spending thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to entertain you guys. And as a consumer of content, you should feel great. You should feel awesome because money is no longer going to investors. It's going to what keeps your attention. So in a way that makes you feel great. But then from my perspective, as a content creator, it makes it feel as if the stuff I'm talking about right now doesn't matter to anyone because it's not a story. It's not, well, I mean, it is a story. It's my story. It's not anyone else's. It's not headline news. It's not topics like that. Um, so it makes it feel like my content doesn't deserve to be on YouTube. That's going to kind of get pushed away, and in a way it will, it will get pushed away. And it's up to me to put in the extra work to see how to keep you guys engaged. Because what made YouTube popular in the early ages were vlogs. And that's because at the time vlogs were really entertaining. They caught people's attention because it was the first time people can get a look into someone's life. And you couldn't get that on TV. No matter how hard you tried, it was really hard to get that on TV. But you were able to get it on YouTube. But now everyone does it every single day because of Facebook, because of Instagram. You are getting a glimpse of someone's life all the time. So now there's no longer an audience for it necessarily. I mean, there's still audience. Of course, there's people who do it on Instagram and Twitter and all these things all the time. So the audience is still there. It's just kind of spread out. It's not really something that's gonna get people excited. Now what gets people excited is, oh, 100 days of this, I spent $10,000 doing that. Just a lot of these big outlandish events, projects. What else gets people excited? Essays and these big stories. Being a good storyteller. That's a really big thing. If you can tell stories efficiently, then you have a place on YouTube. You have a place anywhere, honestly. If you can tell stories, you are good anywhere. And I guess my philosophy nowadays when I do video projects is just kind of what keeps me engaged. Because that's hard for me to figure out now. It's hard for me to figure out what keeps me engaged. What is something that will make me put the effort in day to day? And I think the reason why I like these kinds of videos where I don't really have a topic, but I try to come up with one on the spot is because it forces me to keep my attention. I'm really bad with keeping my attention, and I think that's what's made me a worse editor over the years. I just can't keep my attention doing these, like editing like I used to, because once I start an editing project, I immediately want to stop. it makes me want to sleep. Like it tires me out so much that I want to sleep. So I haven't been able to do that as much. There have been a lot of editing projects that I've just kind of kept on the, just kept to the wayside, which is unfortunate. Um, I guess maybe some people are questioning, why I have the title "Everything I'm Not Made Me Everything I Am" by the great Kanye West. So funny story about me and Kanye. I was never really into hip hop as a kid. What happened was my brother was really into hip hop. That was kind of his big thing, and he would listen to a lot of rappers. But not a lot of rappers didn't really catch my attention when I heard him listening to music. But he got really excited when Kanye's next album came out, which was Graduation. And he bought that album, and he would play it all the time. He would ask my mom if we could play it in the car. I think he got like a, I don't even know what you call them, like a jukebox or something, stereos, something like where you could play the CD and play it. So he would do that. He would just play it all the time. And even when he was playing it all the time, I wasn't really into it. But then years later, years after the album came out, I don't know why I was at that point in middle school where I just wanted to play the same game over and over again. I have that weird thing about myself where I like playing the same game. I like getting into a habitual routine in that way. And for some reason, I just wanted to, play that album as I was playing the same game. And that's when I really started getting into Kanye and started getting into his music. I started really enjoying it. And then what else came out? I think the big thing was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I didn't listen to the album as a whole, but there's a lot of songs on there that I would just listen to over and over again. There was, All of the Lights I really loved. Power is really good. Those were the two main ones I listened to a lot. But there's a lot of great songs on that album. But I love the line, "Everything I'm not made me everything I am." What makes that such a great, great line is that it's honestly true. We now live in a time where we compare ourselves to other people. Magazines, TV shows, movies. We want to be other people. We want to be those kinds of people. And we look at that perspective that we want to be this, we want to be this, we want to be this, in the perspective that we're not currently that, or we're nowhere near that. When we watch a movie starring The Rock, or even watching anything, any sports or anything like that, we see their best features and we compare it to something that we're not good at. So an example for me was that I wanted to exercise and be super strong because I was always overweight. I was overweight my entire life. I ate really badly. I always wanted to eat. Food was like my life, my religion in a way. Like I would eat all the time if I could. I never exercised. Exercise was just not my thing. As a kid, I'd go to the park and things like that. But I ate worse than how I exercised, and I really didn't like putting in any work. I was pretty lazy. But then I would watch shows and sports, and then I would see how strong they are, how they're able to work out, and that made me want to do that. But I never did that. So everything I'm not made me everything I am. So seeing these people work out and become strong eventually made me want to do those things. It put into my mind that was something I wanted to do. Now, I'm not sure if that was Kanye's intent of the line, and that's kind of what I like about songs too, is that songs can have different definitions for different people. I love that. So I'm gonna go on Genius Lyrics right now. I think it's Genius, yeah. Everything I'm not made me everything I am. So let's look at that line. People talking shit, but when shit hit the fan, everything I'm not made me everything I am. And then the annotation here is Kanye confronts his flaws, surveying the consequences of his outspokenness and rumination on how people expect him to conduct himself. West comes to the conclusion that while he will never be able to live up to people's expectations and will always be flawed, it's all these imperfections and more that serve to make up who he is. So as much as we don't want to admit our flaws, or as much as we want to admit that our flaws don't make up who we are, or that we can be better than our flaws are who we are, and it's a beautiful thing. I think there's some beauty to imperfection. Um, I we've seen it in shows and TV and books and things like that. That if we were ever able to make something perfect, then we wouldn't focus on it. We wouldn't grab our attention. You know, and I think Kanye, when he makes his music, he does a great job of expressing his flaws without being a prick about it, an asshole, a dick. Sometimes he is, and that's kind of the fun sometimes, especially when he like, I don't know, he talked about like his sex addiction or just how much he likes sex. Like, that part is fun, you know. You might think he sounds like a dick when he does it, but I don't know, sex is funny. It's funny to talk about sex. But when he talks about it in this song, everything I'm not, like, he's expressing, at least from my interpretation, that there is a part of him that wants to change and wants to be in a different, view in the spotlight. As much as he loves being in the spotlight, I don't think he wants to be known for his imperfections. But in this song, he accepts it. He accepts his imperfections, and I don't think I'm that good at accepting my imperfections, because I think there's a lot of reason for me to be success. I guess I have a lot of high expectations for myself. I'm very much in the realm of that I have everything. I should have everything going for myself. I should. I went to school. I got an education in the United States. I went to college in the United States. The United States itself is one of the most privileged countries on the planet. And here I am, not working in my field, and struggling from time to time, like, and the thing is, one of my biggest struggles comes from mental health. Mental health is one of my biggest struggles. My emotions is one of my biggest struggles, and then my struggles aren't even things that are life-threatening to my health. Really, it's like, I'm gonna have food on the table, no matter what. I don't think I'm ever gonna go hungry in my life unless I voluntarily choose to. I think I'm always gonna have a car. I think that's never gonna be an issue. I don't know. There's really, all my problems compared to other generations don't seem, that much warranted. But I struggle. I struggle every day. I want to be better than what I am all the time. I want it. I want to fight for it. I want to work 10 times harder than what I do now. I want to create something that I can be proud of. It's hard for me to look back at my accomplishments and figure out why I'm not doing better. It's hard for me to figure that out. I feel like, I guess, I don't know. It's weird because I've always thought as a kid, and I'm always perplexed as to why it's not this way for me now, or for anyone now, that life is just not a consistent going up. It's not. It's not consistently going up. And a great example is with what I'm trying to do for my new month resolution, trying to get into good habits. Like this morning, I was trying to work out. I didn't even wake up this morning properly. I went back to bed. I was so tired. I'm still tired. I'm still exhausted. Luckily, I don't start work until 11, so I still have some time to exercise and get to work. But oh man, I was so tired this morning. It was not even funny how tired I was. And part of that was that I was working extra hours. I still am going to work extra hours, not today, but Saturday. Saturday I'm going to be working a full shift open to close, something like that. And, I want to rest, but it seems like if I sleep more, I just get more tired. Um, so, but again, it's like talking about these issues, it's not interesting to anyone. I don't think it's interesting to anyone. Every time, like when I look back at what I just said, it sounds like I'm just a whiner, a complainer, that I'm not doing anything interesting. Yeah, like Elon Musk is trying to figure out how to build tubes underneath a town, and I'm here talking about my issues, as if the audience itself is my therapist. It's a very, I don't know, it makes me feel unimportant, uninteresting, all those things. But let's look at things from a positive perspective, because I think we should always try to look on the bright side of everything. Okay, so there's still a lot of opportunity, a lot of moments for me to turn that around. There's still a lot of things in my power I can do to make things better, to make my life better, if I choose to. As to how to make things interesting, my life more interesting, I was wondering about that, because does that mean I'm on social media too much? Should I stop using social media? Should I just replace um, my phone with something else? Like, can I replace what I do here in any way, shape, or form? Like, and I'm trying to figure that out, and I'm not sure how. Because YouTube, in terms of how many stories I can find, it's endless and limitless, and I love that. I love it, and any topic you want. Any topic you want, there will be a million stories about that topic, and you can't find that anywhere else. But maybe having too much in front of you can be a really bad thing. I think my personality, I think I have an addictive personality, because when I want something, I want more. When I want more, I want more than that. When I want more than that, I want more than that. It's essentially a never-ending. It's a never-ending satisfaction that I want. I want to do the things that I like forever and ever and ever, and I'm starting to hate it. I'm starting to hate that personality, that side of myself, and I want to do as much as I can to change that. And I guess I just don't know how. And that makes me want to take drastic measures. That makes me want to delete all social medias and just not use them anymore, and things like that. It makes me want to look at my life from a different perspective. But I don't know if I need to go that far. I'm not sure. Not really sure about that. And those are things I just need to figure out. I'm trying to figure out problems or solutions to problems that may or may not even be problems. It's a weird thing I think about. Not sure. Very strange. Very, very strange. I've started this project for 5 days now, live streaming. And I wonder if I should do it longer. If I should try my hardest to make talking a sport for me. Because the only way you get good at something is if you do it more and more and more. You keep doing it, you keep going. More and more and more and more. My only problem is, how do I know if I'm good at talking? How do I know if I'm getting better at it? Can you be going in the wrong direction sometimes? I'm not sure. I don't know. The only way I do know is if is when I'm copying other people and just seeing what they do. So that's making me think now. Now my brain is starting to turn. What if I do delete social media, but I live stream all the time as much as I can. And here's where I'm going with it. Because if I do it in that way, then I can't really, like, it's just gonna force me to go into another direction that might be interesting. It might be interesting if I just stop using. Well, that's my grudge with YouTube, is that I want an app on my phone where I can still upload content, but you can't do that without YouTube itself, and it makes it enticing to watch content on there, you know. So that part's hard. That part is really hard. But I think that's something I'm going to try to focus on now. I'm going to try to see if I can just delete all social media. Just everything that's a social media, I'm just going to stop doing. But then still talk to you guys. Give you guys a perspective that you can't get anywhere else, you know? And stop looking at other people's perspectives, you know? Stop caring about focusing about other people that I'll never meet, that stress me out, because social media stresses me out to no point, like to no end. Social media is such a stressful environment. And you know, I've said I wanted to be successful and popular, and a lot of these big YouTubers, they essentially go with the crowd. That's essentially how a lot of these YouTubers have been successful over the years. You know, I know they're creating their own style, but they're also taking bits and pieces from those type of inspirations. I know they are, but I wonder, how can I do that? How can I grow on YouTube without looking at other people's content for inspiration? That's something I'll figure out on my own. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I liked where this went. This gave me things to think about and to focus on. But anyways, you guys take care, all right? I want you guys to stay safe out there. Seriously, stay safe. It's crazy.